Welcome to Dateline Health. This is Fred Lippman coming to you from Nova Southeastern University. And we're having our annual holiday season broadcast, which I've promised. I've always said to you that even though we talk about multiple diseases and techniques and medicine and healthcare, but I want to talk about something about the health of the community. And I can't think of anything that's more healthy in our community than the Humane Society of Broward County. So let me introduce to you one of our all-time returning, and you actually broke a record today, Marni. You broke a record. You have been on our show more than any single guest that we've ever had today.
Wow, I'm flattered.
Marni Bellavia, and she's the manager, AAT. What, I don't know what AAT is, but I think I know. And of the program, it's really animal assisted therapy program, but I was going to let her say that, at the Humane Society of Broward County. And we have a guest. We thank you for being here. Jenn, as it says up there, Eklund, and she's a volunteer at the AAT program at the Humane Society of Broward County. Welcome to both of you. And I want you to introduce your dog, Jenn.
Hello, I'm Jenn. This is Chloe. She's a golden retriever, and she's in the animal assisted therapy program for about 2 years now.
2 years?
Yes.
Well, and Marni, we have back a little girl that was a puppy when she first came, and now she's a grown-up person.
It's true.
Who we got?
This is Karma. Karma is now 7 years old, so she's been with us here now for 7 years. She's also a rescue from the Humane Society of Broward. We're very happy that she is here with us today.
No, we are both happy. Before we get into the animal assisted therapy program, just tell me a bit, or tell the folks out there, not me, about the Humane Society of Broward County.
The Humane Society of Broward County is a nonprofit animal organization where we have animals that need homes, that are homeless, that we provide shelter, and we provide responsible adoptions to people in the community. We have various community programs and various services at our shelter. We have a low-cost spay and neuter clinic. We have low-cost vaccines. We have a foster care program, an ambassador dog program. We have our animal assisted therapy program. We have a full education program for kids. So we have camp that goes on during the spring, summer, winter, and fall for kids to learn about animals and to come into the shelter and participate in some of the activities with the animals there. We have a pet boutique. And of course, like I mentioned, we have a full-on clinic, and we have our animals there that need to have forever homes.
Jenn Eklund, what made you decide to go this route and do a rescue dog?
Well, yes, was formerly a teacher in Broward County. I actually have a tutoring company right now, so I work with kids. And I had a therapy dog in my classroom, in the special needs classroom, and I saw how amazing it was to see the dogs interact with the kids at a whole new level. And I knew right away that I wanted to join this program. I also grew up with dogs. I've always had dogs, but she is my first dog that I have by myself without my family, and she's been amazing in more than one way, so I'm very blessed to have her.
Okay, so let's talk about the animal assisted therapy program, because it's interesting but yet almost tragic to have to talk about some of the things that we're going to talk about, but let's talk about them because the folks out here have to know what that program is. So go right ahead, Marni.
So our animal assisted therapy program utilizes dogs that have been trained to provide therapeutic services to people in our community. We have different programs, as you know. We have a Wags and Tails reading program where we have volunteers like Jenn and Chloe that participate at local schools, local libraries, and provide an opportunity for children to read one-on-one with a therapy dog. It helps encourage literacy, it helps break down barriers for the child, it helps build confidence, and it makes reading fun. So that's a wonderful program, and that's in our schools in Broward County, both private schools and public schools, and we also have it in private and our public libraries, our Broward County Public Libraries. We have our overall animal-assisted therapy program where we have teams that are certified that go in and work with a varying group of people, everything from people in our senior community to children that may be in special needs type of programs. They could be severely disabled, autistic, traumatic brain injuries. We work with hospice. We work with people that are doing rehabilitation. Could be somebody that maybe broke their leg and they're learning how to walk again. And that's like our overall animal-assisted therapy. And then we have our newly developed program, which is which is our Canines for Community Resilience program. And that program was developed, unfortunately, after the tragic shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas on February 14th of this year. Actually, today is 9 months that we have participated in bringing our volunteers with their certified Canines for Community Resilience dog teams to the school and to the community of Parkland and Coral Springs to aid in the stress relief. And one of the things about that program is the Canines for Community Resilience program is a program where we have selected, or I have selected, specific dogs that have been specially trained to work in traumatic situations and critical incidents. So one of the things that we did was we collaborated with the City of Miramar Fire Rescue and Broward Sheriff's Office, the 911 Regional Communication Centers, and Broward Health Coral Springs. And what we did was we built a partnership exclusively with them to allow our animals to come and do on-site training with the firefighters, with the paramedics, with the doctors and the nurses, so that the dogs were in situations where it was chaotic, where it was stressful, where they were going to hear different things and be on different surfaces for different types of tactile responses, because you never know what you're walking into when you walk into a critical emergency type of situation. And at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, we deployed our teams out the very next day after the shooting to all of the elementary schools and middle schools. And when the school reopened, the high school reopened, we were out there with 20 of our dog teams. And what's different about that type of situation when you're talking about something that's critical incident is that most of the time when we're out doing a therapy visit, the atmosphere is very controlled. It's a very manageable situation. But obviously in an emergency situation or critical incident situation, that is more chaotic. And during this time, as you can imagine, emotions were running very, very high. People were very, very stressed. Children were crying. Parents were crying. People were angry. People were very sorrowful. So being able to have our animals there was a very big benefit. It was really an invaluable service to the community. Once they reopened the school, they had psychologists there and therapists to work with the children individually, the students individually. And it was very interesting because most of them didn't really want to engage in conversation with the therapists. They wanted to engage in conversation with one of our dogs. So I had students that would just lay down on Karma and cry and tell her every horrific thing that happened to them while that happened. And what having the animals there did, it opened up a bridge of communication where they could communicate with the psychologists at that point by virtue of having the dog there. They felt safe. They didn't feel like they were talking to a psychologist. They felt like they were talking to the dog, telling them their deepest thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And then they were able to bridge that gap and actually help those children to start the healing process. So our teams, Jenn and Chloe are one of them, of the 20 that we have that visit Marjory Stoneman Douglas on a nearly daily basis, and we have been to every community event in Parkland and Coral Springs since that incident. And what we've done now with this program is we've expanded it because I saw that there was a tremendous need not only for us to participate at the school level and at the community level, but to also partner with the first responders, because these are the people that are actually on the calls that took the victims to the hospitals, that were with the survivors, the police, the firemen, firefighters, the paramedics. So the 911 dispatch operators that were getting all the calls. So now we've expanded to include our partnership is with the first response teams as well. So we're able to work side by side with them during these critical incidents and help with stress relief, help with traumatic incidents, help people be able to talk and respond, and provide mental stability, because it's a very uncontrolled environment where, like I said, emotions are super high and uncontrollable.
Tell me about your involvement. I know that you said you've had Chloe for quite a while, but of course you've had Chloe long before the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas thing. So
Yes.
you are participatory in a lot of different programs. So let's talk about some of the other programs as well.
We are in the education program as well, which is at the Humane Society, and we go out to different community events to teach about pet safety and do some career days at different schools in Broward and just let them know what the Humane Society offers. We also do the summer camps like Marni was mentioning, which are wonderful because the kids get a chance to come down with the shelter dogs and make treats for them and take care of them and clean up, play with them, and just kind of interact with all of them and give them love, which is amazing to witness. We're also in the Wags and Tails program, like I mentioned, so we go into a couple schools in Broward County as well as the libraries and read with different students that may usually have a little bit trouble reading. And as a educator on my end, it's been amazing to see the other side of it and just kind of sit there and be quiet and just watch them read with Chloe, just pet her, lay with her on the carpet. It's really cute because they usually choose a pet story and they're all excited to read with her. And it's been wonderful to see their fluency pick up, their confidence increase, as well as the feedback from the teacher has told me that overall their reading levels have also increased over the course of the year, which is very important. Because we're actually in a third grade classroom in Broward County, so they do take some state testing, and usually that's a little bit of a high stress environment. So to give them some confidence prior to that exam, it's been extremely helpful. For Canines for Community Resilience, from the day of the shooting, I had contacted Marni and knew that we wanted to help. So that next day, we went out there and started helping, and there was a lot of confusion and chaos, but we knew we had to be there. So we were placed in the elementary school across the street, where a lot of the students kind of filtered through that school. So they had siblings there. Some of them had parents that worked there. Most of the teachers at that elementary school had those students that were some of the victims. So it was really nice to be able to just get in there and help, even if it was in a tiny little closet that we were in. It didn't matter because the kids were so happy to open up and speak with us and the therapist. So,
you know, we don't like to talk about tragedies, but there are tragedies. The opportunity that a therapy animal presents to me is really a blessing. That's the way I look at it. And you talk about Wags and Tails, the reading program. I'll never forget when Marni, I think maybe it was the second time she was here, 2008. The discussion about a child who had very large glasses, and how the kids used to pick on the kid and call him, four eyes, bottle, whatever, I can't remember the words he used. And yet, when he started to read with the dog sitting in front of him, they forgot it. They completely forgot it. And I never forgot that story. She told it to me, and it reminds me all the time when you spoke about issues, not only special needs children. It's amazing to me how these animals enable that child to become in the light of what we know as whole. Do you find that?
yes, we actually were at a special needs facility for children with different disabilities. And so one of them was actually in a wheelchair. And this is something that I've practiced with her so that she's able to be close to the wheelchair and not be, frightened, and just know how to maneuver around people in wheelchairs. And she came right up to the little girl. The little girl wanted to throw the ball, and she had some physical impairments and wasn't able really to throw the ball. So Chloe came up and put her head right on her lap, and that was enough. And the little girl reached down and petted her in her way, and it was so beautiful to witness because she tried so hard to just move her hand over to pet her. And it's like she knew. So I always knew that this was something I wanted to do, but not every dog is perfect for the program. So I feel very blessed to not only have a dog that's able to work so well alongside of me, but is able to pick up on different things that the kids need, and she just does it far beyond any training I could have ever given her. So,
well, you use blessed, and I think we're blessed to have Marni Bellavia and her program. She's been running it for quite a number of years. And of course, we're blessed to have the Humane Society of Broward County, which I think is super special, because you know, I mean, I'm a receiver of pets and animals from that venue, and I would suggest that anyone who wants a pet, an animal, a cat, dog, or whatever animals are available, should visit the Humane Society of Broward County, right there on Griffin Road, just before the railroad track. It's in Dania. So it's really an amazing experience. I find myself not willing to go in often, because the minute I walk in, I want to take another 2 or 3 dogs, and it just doesn't work. But I have a beautiful dog at home, which is a rescued dog. She's now going to be 11 years old, and she's a lab mix. I don't know what the mix is, but she looks more like a lab than anything else. And she's so bright. I mean, I was saying to Marni before the show, she has a vocabulary of at least 80 to 100 words. I mean, there's very little that she can say that she doesn't respond to. I mean, it's always, you know, the proper response. I mean, it doesn't take much. I mean, just doesn't take much, which is really beautiful. I mean, I grew up with dogs, you know. But I try to bring this show to the eyes and ears of our viewers, which are many, because I really think that this is really one of the most unbelievable venues we have in Broward County to bring us together and our minds and bodies together to be able to give and receive from these animals. How about that, Marni?
I agree 100%.
Do you?
Of course I do.
Okay. So tell me now about, you know, we have a lot of communications relative to the animals going into hospitals, you know, cancer care clinics, and of course you always see it on television, people that are, you know, and rightfully so, they're trying to challenge themselves to receive some donations. And by the way, even though we never do it, but I do it, get it in here. If anybody would like to donate to the Humane Society of Broward County, we're going to put up a telephone number and an address, and that's up to you. I'm not challenging you folks, because, you know, we're a not-for-profit institution and we receive benefits too from the community. But really, the Humane Society of Broward and Marni Heisinger, who is so involved with Nova Southeastern University, just told me up from heaven that I better say something about donating to the Humane Society of Broward County, so I just did. Anyway, Marni, if somebody wants to be involved with the animal assistant program, any assistance, whether it be the therapy program, the animal assisted therapy program, or anything else that has to do with the value that an animal such as a dog or a cat can bring to the community, how do they do that?
So there's a couple of ways. For anybody that wants to volunteer, they can contact our volunteer services department. That number is 954-266-6814. Or they can go to our website, which is www.humanebroward.com. And on our website, we have all of our volunteer positions listed with full descriptions and numbers to contact for people that are interested in participating in whatever volunteer position they are interested in.
That's really important, because the most important thing is we can't let the animals not have people as partners, such as yourself, to go out there in the community. You can't just take an animal and say, listen, go to that hospital, or go to that library, you know, and do X and Y. You're a team.
Yes.
I mean, they become as much part of you as you become part of them, correct?
Yes, 100%.
Is that how you feel,
Yes,
Jenn?
I really do. There's only so much I can do without Chloe.
Well, and like you say, you know, you as an educator, you know how important it is to intervene. I don't mean necessarily psychological intervention, but I really don't know what the track is. I mean, I'm not knowledgeable enough to know, except that it seems to me that the kindness and the love that the animal gives to you connects. Is that what you feel?
Yes. I feel like they definitely find us, and it's the perfect match. And I actually just adopted my second dog from the Humane Society of Broward County. He lost his shelter in Hurricane Michael, and we went up there and brought down a bunch of puppies and kittens that needed homes. And from the second I saw him, I knew he was going to be the perfect addition to our team. So he's 3 months, and he's actually already in training to be a therapy dog.
Really?
So I'm looking forward to adding him to our awesome program, and Marni's helping me with our training, and we've already got him started. So
Good. You just mentioned something which I did want to mention to our viewers. I know we've had such unbelievable tragedies with the hurricanes and now with the fires that's going on the West Coast. I know that the Humane Society has been a receiver of many, many animals from the hurricanes and floods. I would assume eventually there'll be some animals that will come forward from the California conflagration. That true?
It's definitely possible.
Probably. It's just that it's so far away. I know that there were so many volunteers that went up there with proper vehicles to bring the animals down to your shelter, and I'm very pleased that the television networks that we have down here gave so much coverage to that, because I'm sure that aided in the adoption process. I would assume. That's my assumption.
Yeah, and you know, to that note, a lot of people maybe don't realize that our Humane Society does work with other animal shelters and rescues and across, not only just in the United States, but abroad as well. And when we can, we do try to help out by bringing animals back to our shelter to have them adopted so that they have a shot at a lifelong home, as opposed to, you know, potentially being euthanized or living in a shelter the rest of their lives. So, you know, we do a lot in the community beyond just this program. Obviously, this is my heart and soul, but we do a lot in the community, and we do a lot to help animals across the United States and abroad, like I said, to help find them, you know, suitable homes and adoptable homes. And like Jenn said, we just went out and after Hurricane Michael to Alabama and brought a bunch of animals back to be adopted. So, you know, our shelter, I know you touched upon it, and I just want to make sure everybody in the community is very clear. Our shelter is, it's nonprofit, but we don't receive any funding. It's private sector. So we don't get funding from the government, from the state, from the county, from any other animal organization. We're not affiliated with any other animal organization. So it's all private sector. It's donations from people like you and me that help keep our shelter running and are able to, you know, provide programs like this to the community free of charge. And I think that's important because a lot of times people will write a check and not really know where that money is going. So it's important to, you know, make sure that you've done your research, that when you're sending your hard-earned money out, it's going to where you want it to go. And in our community in Broward, we're very fortunate because we have a lot of people, like you had mentioned, the Heisingers, that are wonderful supporters of our animal shelter, but we could always use more because everybody that's nonprofit can always use more money. And all the money we get, we turn around and we help the animals with.
That's for sure. Well, we're down to the last 3.5 minutes of the show, which sort of gives me the opportunity, if possible, because I don't want to wake her up. I mean, Chloe's, you know, gone. I mean, forget it.
She was very stressed out, could you tell?
Yeah, well, I was stressed
This
out.
is, by the way, what a perfect therapy dog
I
should
know,
look like.
But Karma, are you sleeping? Karma? No?
She might be a little bit tired.
Yeah, she's a little tired.
Hi.
Would you like to come over and visit with
I think
me?
we can make room for her over there.
You visit? Can you visit with me? I'd love to have you here. My little Cindy will not be nervous, all right? She won't be nervous. No, you stay here. There you go. There you go. Oh, look at that. You're so nice.
Oh, she's gonna-
You want to give me kisses?
Well, you have to
Okay.
know if you have her, she's going to give you kisses.
Oh, I understand that. It's okay. It's all right. I get it all the time. Anyway, my Cindy, all right, would love to know that you think that I'm okay. That gives me the seal of approval. Anyway, folks, again, we wanted to bring this show to you because we feel, especially around the holiday season, that this is a perfect opportunity for the welfare of the community. I think the love that is shown by these people that are sitting in front of me, Marni Bellavia and Jenn Eklund, are a testament to the fact that we have people in the community that care not only about you, but they care about the kindness and civility of humankind. How about that? And that's really something which we need to be focusing a bit about. So as you have your Thanksgiving and Christmas Day and holiday season dinners, I hope you think about these beautiful dogs that are only showing their kindness and love. We're going to put up an address and telephone number, and also Marni's telephone number so you can reach her. So if you want to do some work with the Animal Assisted Therapy program, I'm sure they'd be more than glad to talk to you. Is that correct, Jen? That's how you got involved, right? Right. So thank you both once again for coming here. And thank you. Thank you. I know. I don't have any treats for you. Mama's got treats over there. Mama's got treats. It's all right. I love you. Oh, don't go anywhere. Stay right here. Stay right here. Stay right here. So remember, folks, this program is called Dateline Health. This particular program is called Community Health for you. As I always tell you, take good care of yourself. And part of taking good care of yourself might be wanting to rescue a dog or a cat. If not, then there's always a way to help them help you in some way. I hope and pray that that many of you won't need some of this animal assistance, but it's available in our community, and we're very proud of it. We're very proud. So thank you both, Marni Bellavia. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
And Jenn Eklund, thank you.
Thank you
You're a
very
newcomer to our show, but come back. We'll see you. And like I said, I dedicate one show a year to these beautiful, wonderful, blessed animals. So just continue on. Again, my name is Fred Lippman. This show comes to you from Nova Southeastern University. I always tell you, take good care of yourself. I already told you how to do it, so just do it. Until next time, this is Fred Lippman saying, see ya.